Hello and welcome to SudoKanard. No Sudoku today. We're solving a Kakuro, which is definitely akin to Sudoku. So this was featured on the qualifying round for the German Puzzle Championship. This has been made by Philipp Weiß. And this one may seem very confusing because of course here this 10 is made with 1 and 3 here, this 20 is made with 7 and 9, but when you look around, well, here you need 1, 2 and 3, definitely, here you need 7, 8, 9, and you can kind of guess that those are smallish digits, but soon you may feel stuck if you just stick to the usual way of thinking of such a puzzle. So when you're stuck with just sums themselves, you must use some more global arguments. So what are those global arguments? Well, you can see that we know the sum of all those digits. I will use some coloring. And you can see that we also know the sum of those rows, which means that by subtraction we can deduce the sum of all those digits here, which I could color like this. So we can compute the sum of all digits that are in both yellow and green and subtract the sum of all that is in green. So the sum on those rows, well, 25 plus 25 is definitely 50 plus 40, that's 90. So we have 90 on those 4 rows, and let's just subtract all of these. So here we have 40, 70, which means that here we have a sum of 20 only. And I'm saying only because you can see that 20 is actually the minimum value for those digits. The minimum value will be achieved with 1s here, 2s there, 3 here, and a 4 here. You can check that the sum is 20. It is both the minimum possibility and the actual value. So this is what is happening, which is a nice idea if you ask me. And you're not asking me, but I'm telling you. And then you might wonder, no, there's no way the same is happening here in reverse. Of course, the same is happening here in reverse. So if you sum those numbers, get to 70 plus 70, that's 140. Remove 40 here, remove 12, you're left with 80. And guess what? 80 is really the maximum value you can achieve by putting 9s on this diagonal, 8s here, 7 here, and 6 there. You can check that those sum to 80, which means that this is a 5. To achieve this 34, this has to be a 4. 16 needs a 6. And 27 needs a 7. You can check that this is 22 indeed, and as it happens, this clue was not needed. So this is a huge part of the puzzle already solved. But now what do we do with this? Well, you can see that we have put lots of small digits, so we're left with less small digits. What would be the minimum scenario here? The minimum scenario would be with 2, 3, 4, and 5, and that would be 14. So we only have 1 degree of freedom. We must increase exactly one number by 1 unit, and the only number that can be increased by 1 unit is this one, and that is a 3. Now we have 16, so this is 9. And then 12. So we need another 13, so they will be 6 and 7 or 5 and 8. But let's have a look at 10. 10. This 10 does not use 1, 2, 3, so it will be 4 plus 6 like this. 4 plus 6. Here we have 10. Those two must sum to 15, so this will be 6 or 8. And these two, this one will be 5 or 7. Except that these two must sum to 14, so they must be 5 and 9, and 7 and 8. And down there something similar is happening, and by this I mean that those digits are big, so those are not so big. So let's see what the maximum possibility would be. It would be with 8, 7, 6, and 5. Those numbers sum to 26, so we have to decrease one of the digits by 1 unit, and the only one that can be decreased by 1 unit is this one. Now to achieve 35 we need a 1 there. And we could have seen actually, because those sum to 30, that the maximum value here was actually a 4, not a 5. Now this 10 clue does not use 7, 8, 9, so it will have to be 6 plus 4. And like before, here we have 34, so those two must sum to 6. This is 1, this is 5, this is 7, by the way, this is 3, and this is 2. And so it was not so hard in the end, but you had to think of doing those huge sums and those subtraction. Thanks for watching this video. See you soon on SudoKanard.